Strap in and get ready. This is the Wild Will Throwdown. We're your all-access pass to the world of short track racing, covering everything from regional results to national highlights. Each episode, we dive into upcoming schedules and bring you exclusive interviews with special guests from the heart of the motorsports industry. Now, here is your host, Wild Will Greenwell.
Welcome, everyone, to the Wild Will Throwdown podcast. Another week gone by, and we are back at it. We hope everyone had a great 4th of July holiday. Of course, celebrating America's 250th birthday. Of course, 1776 to 2006, 1776. It's hard to believe that America was born way back then, but here we are. Another week has gone by, like we talked about. We are over the halfway point now, officially in 2026 for the race season. But now my co-hosts join me on the show, Mr. Hawk, Harold Adams, Young Money Dalton Connor, and we'll start with you, Harold Adams. We spent the week at the racetrack, of course. It was a great weekend at Salem Speedway.
Yeah, big firecracker weekend. Always look forward to that, and it was a big deal. And of course, as always, we had to kind of battle Mother Nature a little bit. But hey, we got to see all the races, so it all worked out good in the end.
Yeah, we're going to recap that here in just a moment, but another guy who is on the hotline that took off another weekend of racing, Mr. Dalton Connor. Dalton, what is going on here?
I'm not liking it either, just as much as you guys are. But no, I'll be back in the seat sometime soon. I don't want to say next weekend because we're not for sure. We were going to run my modified down at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway with the Modifieds of Mayhem, but they already canceled due to like a tire shortage, I think is what they said on F70 Hoosiers. So hate to hear that because we run F70s all over up here. So hopefully they can get that sorted out.
Oh gosh, don't say tire shortage. I don't want to go back to 2020 now.
Yeah, trust me, that's exactly where my mind went too.
Huh. That was a bad time, and still we're feeling the remnants. I mean, we really are. If you want to talk about that, we're feeling the remnants of 2020 6 years later. We have a lot of tire prices that went up, so 2020 we are still feeling here in America.
Oh yeah, for sure, and including like the figure 8 class. Let's just say at the Speedrome now it's a 2-tire. You have to buy 2 tires per race. You can't just buy 4. So, and that all started during the tire shortage, COVID, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we're still feeling it 6 years later, and I don't know if it's going to change anytime soon.
Well, how did you spend your 4th of July? We got to ask you that.
Yeah, well, we got caught up around the house a little bit. Did some cleaning around here, picked some stuff up. I bought a Can-Am side-by-side, so for the off-season of racing, for fall time and winter and stuff like that. So just something to play with and have fun away from the racetrack. But, yeah, just got caught up and made some stupid purchases, I guess.
No, Harold Adams, what it is, he's lost so much in every division, now he's going side-by-side racing.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Yeah, I don't like this trend. We don't like this.
Don't worry, I'm still going to be racing.
I know you are.
Okay, you better sometime soon anyway.
All right, so looking at where we were this past weekend, you were right. Friday night it kicked off, Harold Adams. We had the Bandoleros Legends, Ford Future Stars. We had the Firecracker 100 for the Crown Vics. Carter Clapp won the Bandoleros. Max Olmstead, the Legends. Peyton Smith picked up the Ford Future Stars. We had a bus teaser. And then, of course, a big, epic Firecracker 100 came down to kind of deja vu. 2 drivers who have had it run in before at the track and off the track, but they actually had a great, clean race. Chase Adams came out on top. Paul Hartledge finished second. But Harold Adams, there was that rain that came in right before the races actually started and the second practice. Basically, it dropped. It went from you could not breathe outside to I actually got a light jacket out.
Yeah, I know, because I was down there for the driver's meeting. It was just crazy hot. I was like, wow. So, I had to come upstairs, cool off, and practically take a nap. It just wore me out. So, and then, like you said, then all of a sudden it got cloudy. Wind started blowing like crazy. It was almost blowing you off the roof up there. The temperature dropped. We got a little shower, and it felt pretty good. It started to warm up, but, not as bad as what we thought. So, in the end, it was good. We had a little slight delay there, but all in all, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. And how about that epic Crown Vic race? I mean, Chase Adams and
As always.
I mean, it's just amazing the storylines that we had in that race. And it seemed like all the top runners, I want to give a special shout out. Of course, Troy Phillips had bad luck. And then, of course, how about the bad luck for Brandon Deckard? He led probably the most laps of anybody. 57 laps, I believe he led.
Yeah, he's talking about that first 43 laps going green. I believe he probably led all those.
Yeah, he did.
And, I mean, it looked like nobody had anything for him. I mean, I know it was a long race and everything, but it would have been interesting to see him stay out there to see how he would have handled himself, down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt. And it was a great day Friday. Saturday, we got home late on Friday. Saturday morning, we got up and did it all over again. Derek Smith was a big winner. Every event besides the firecracker and the figure eight, it seemed like he won. He won the Ford on the short track. He won the bus figure eight. He won the bus oval. Robert Lord picked up the figure eight, and of course the firecracker 100 for the Great American Stocks. Absolutely domination. And man, Skeeter Crum, that double deuce, that 22, finished with, I think, almost 10-second lead from second place. Austin Baum, Jeff Caldell, then you had Dave Baines, and then you had Chuck Barnes Jr. But how about the domination from that number 22?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he let everybody know that he's back in a vengeance. I mean, that Kimmel-built car was just on a rail and a rocket ship as well. I mean, they really had nothing for him, honestly.
Yeah, they did not. But, gentlemen, we are halfway over. We are over the halfway point. We talked about last week on the show how we were at the halfway point of the 2026 season. Now, let's talk about this. What about report cards? So I'm going to start with you, Harold Adams. How would you start the grade process for the first half of the 2026 season? A, B, C, D, F, or et cetera?
I'd probably give it a W.
Elaborate.
Stands for weather. No.
Hey, it wasn't as bad as last year. Weather was terrible last year. This year we've gotten okay.
Yeah. It has. It's just been more of a nuisance this year. You know what I'm saying? We've had a lot of threatening rain, little rain delays and all that kind of stuff. And, you think you get into a summer pattern here where it'd be a drought, but it just ain't happening yet. But other than that, the racing, I'll give it a B+. I'm still waiting for something to really jump it up to an A. We've seen some really good racing here and there. And I'm anticipating a good second half of the season, though. I don't know, I have a feeling we're going to see some really good races down the stretch.
No, I do too. And Dalton Connor, I'll throw it to you. And I don't know if I'm grading you or the racing, but I'll let you take it over there.
Yeah, I'll grade the racing I've seen, and I'll grade myself. So I'm probably about with Harold Adams on probably a B+. Probably some races I would say are an A. But overall, probably a B+. Now, my own grade, I'm going to give myself a fucking F-. And the F is for
well, you're right on the money there.
Yeah, just terrible. I mean, it really does.
I was waiting for that.
It sucks. It really does. But, there's, like you said, we're only halfway through, so maybe I can turn it around.
Well, hey, I'm going to give this season a... I'm going to give this season a B-. So far, we haven't seen the really wow factor. I think in some divisions we have seen, and that B- does account for the weather. I'm going to throw the weather in there. The weather has pretty much put a damper on a lot of that, some of the big races that I've wanted to see. And then, of course, some of the races, and then you look at the dirt tracks we started at Thunder Valley. I'm giving that track an A, but, that's part of the B-, basically. No fault of anybody because of the weather that came in, trying to get the track perfectly primed, the weather being so hot out and the conditions there. And then, of course, we ran midseason championship out at the Sportsdrome Speedway. That's part of the weather. We didn't get to really see who the champions of that night were going to be for the halfway point, and no scheduled rain date on that. We can't give it an A, right? So, B+, B-, those are great grades. But I can't wait to the latter part of the season because Harold Adams, you got to talk about this. We got some big races coming up in our whole region coming up. You got to look at this. We got the big school bus nights coming up at Sportsdrome. We have the 1 hour figure eight at Sportsdrome. You're sponsoring 2,000 to win. We have the 50th Annual World 3-Hour Championship. We have the championships at Sportstrome. Brownstown has big events. Thunder Valley has a ton of events, including 11 events, I think, to end the 2026 season. So it feels like we're just starting, which we are, that season of Thunder Valley Raceway. And then, of course, you look at other places that's having big iconic events like cavalcades and stuff like that. So plus we get into that fall kind of race mode a little bit, the Halloween 200. So Harold Adams, the second part of the 2026 season, Mother Nature pending, it's going to be big.
Yeah, that's a big pending right there. But yeah, if everything goes well and what we anticipate, I anticipate an A+ when you ask us this at the end of the year.
Yeah, no doubt. But Dalton Connor, this week, we'll get to the topic of the week here. Just wanted to talk about report cards a little bit. So what do you got for us this week?
So we kind of touched on it a little bit last week, not much, but I kind of touched on it because it affected me the previous week. So just a general kind of topic. Controversial race director calls. We talked about race directors, flagmen last week, but let's try and carry it over. So the one that pops up into my head mainly, we can all go through one instance that just pops up in our head instantly when you hear about it, is this past year's Snowball Derby Ty Majeski call. Leading the race, I can't remember exactly how many laps to go, 5, 10 to go, somewhere around there, and He jumped the start one time, and they told him on the receiver, they threw it back to do a restart, told him on the receiver to watch his starts, and he jumped again a little bit. It was a little bit better of a start, but they still said he jumped again, and Black flagged him out of the lead of the Snowball Derby. And I believe that would have been his second or third Snowball Derby, third, I believe. But that's one thing that just pops up into my head where it's just controversy surrounds it. So we can also go into, do you guys like the race director to make those calls? I know it's very circumstantial. It all depends on the circumstance and situation. I get that. But we'll just go by one. Harold, I'll kick it to you for a controversial race director call that instantly just pops up into your mind when you hear about it.
Well, it kind of reminds me of some people like saying, like in the sport of football, they don't want the referee to decide the end of a game, like a crucial call at the end of the game, like a pass interference, like a judgment call. You don't want the referee to make this crazy call that actually basically gives it to the other team. So that's kind of what happened there, what you were talking about down there in Florida. Like, that really took him, out of the picture completely for a judgment call. Now, in a deal like that, maybe it'd be better to, like move the row back one or move him back a spot or two or whatever it is. A lot of times you'll see him do that. But that was really something that in that point of the race to really make a call like that. That's just almost over the top. And that's just something that, you wish it wouldn't happen that way. There has to be some kind of a finer line, in order to do that, because you just don't want them to actually decide that guy's basically not going to win at that point. So, calls like that, I don't know if they feel like they've got some power and they want to use that power, or maybe they have a little vendetta against somebody. They have an opportunity to use it. But so you kind of want to have a guy that wants to go by the rules and be strict and let the guys know it. But then you also got to have a little common sense as well. So, Will, what do you got?
Well, there's a lot to this. Like you brought up, Harold Adams, there's common sense calls and stuff like that. And you don't want the referees to decide it. I don't know how much you've been following. You two have been following the FIFA World Cup. But there has been a lot of controversy this week in the news about what happened to Team USA, and that was one of the players got a red card threw at him. Well, the red card wasn't really the issue. The red card, a lot of people, I should say, in FIFA disagree with how the severity of the penalty is. If you get a red card, you're not only ejected from that game, you're also ejected from the entire next game as well. Well, the rule book states that's what the rule is. So basically what happened was that referee threw that red card, and a day later or 2 days later or whatever the case may be, FIFA as an organization went back and said, no, we're not going to suspend him for the next game. We're going to let him play. A lot of people stated government officials involved themselves, and because the USA is hosting the FIFA World Cup, that is what did it. So basically, whether you agree with that or not, if the USA wins this whole FIFA World Cup deal, there's going to be an asterisk at the end of that one. So basically, my point of view is I hate that rule, but the rules are the rules. So if there is a red card through and the rules state that, hey, you're not only ejected now, you should be ejected in the next game. Yeah, it sucks, and I don't like that rule, and I don't agree with that rule. Obviously, I'm Team USA all the way, but you have to keep it that way. So there's some of the rules there. And now that reminds me, guys, of some cases that I've been at some tracks where there's some tracks that say the race director is the final call, which is great. I agree with that. There's some tracks that had the race director has it, but how many times, Dalton? Now, I'm not going to throw us to Dalton. This is really, Dalton, you're a driver. So, Harold, how many times have we been at places that the race is over and the owner brings the person to the press box for the race director?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so
bunches of times.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is the owner, this is FIFA World Cup, getting involved, saying, okay, this is what you need to decide on. My opinion is the rules are the rules. Now, here's one thing that I think you both will agree on with me. Common sense. If we're having a time limit race and we have 6-7 laps to go. Oh, God, I said 6-7. If we have
6-7.
Yeah, 8 or 9 laps to go, the fans and everyone else wants to see that race finish under green. Would you agree, Dalton?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, nobody wants to see. I think it's honestly one of the stupidest rules I can just throw out NASCAR because they're an easy target. I hate the rule of finishing under a yellow flag. I just feel like, I know the winners feel like this too. They're happy because they win the race, but how many Daytona 500s have ended under a yellow flag because they can't get back to the checkered?
Yeah,
I mean,
but they changed that
I
at
hate
least.
The rule. Yeah, I hated that rule.
Yes.
But like you said, they changed it. And back then, the rules were the rules. So you may have got screwed by it, or you may have won a race by it. So it's like you just said about the FIFA thing. It sucks that it was the USA because, I'm rooting for USA too. But at the end of the day, rules the rules. So what can you do?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, what can you do? And as far as that's a great point you brought up. And I'm not just talking about Ty Majeski. That is the biggest rule we see. The enforced rule that we see at racetracks on the short track level is jumping the start. I think that is one of the most common things and issues you have, that the leader, the control car, brings them to the restart start zone, whether that's a box, a cone, a tire over in turn 4. Most places now, I'm telling you what, a lot of series are getting more strict with that. They're only giving them one chance. If you break it, you go to the second row. That whole row does. So basically, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting the guy who did not jump the start. Which, okay. So now what most tracks are doing is give you the warning, and then the second is going to be your penalty. So Dalton, what's your opinion on that? You're the one who brought up the jump starts.
Yeah, so it was just the easiest thing for me to go off of because of the Ty Majeski deal. But yeah, like you said, it's the most common penalty, I guess, enforced. Now, like you said though, so let's say it's not the leader that jumps the start on that deal where they would send the row back, and it's the second place car, the outside car, that would jump the start. Now, let's say the front row drivers have gotten into it a few times the past week, and the second place driver's like, oh, screw it, I'm going to jump the start, and
sure.
if they don't throw it back, I get a good start and get the lead possibly, or if they do throw it back, it's going to penalize both of us, so I don't really care either way. So there's pros and cons to everything in the sport, you know what I mean? But I guess you kind of just gotta limit what you can put in the race director's hands at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like that. Harold, what's your opinion on the jump starts?
Yeah, like I said, you got to give them a chance there a little bit. Like you said, common sense there. You don't want to get too strict, but you got to have it where the guys will be thinking, they need to obey the rules there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a big gray area, I guess you could say. So there's a lot of ways you could do it.
And of course, in the top level, you have different penalties, more penalties, speeding in pit lane. We talked about jump starts, moving for the race start signal, unsafe pit releases, sending the car into the path of another, or uncontrolled tire.
How about rough driving?
Well, I mean, that's on purpose, that's a no-brainer. You can throw people out all day long, but, they're already ticked off and pissed off. So,
you know what's crazy to me about that rough driving, though? So Austin Dillon at Richmond, maybe Joey Logano, he wrecked just completely overdrove the corner, was never going to make it, wrecked Joey Logano, I believe, for the win at Richmond a year or two ago. And no NASCAR guy is going to get black flagged for dumping somebody on the last lap. But short track racing, I feel like they're more prone to black flag you for doing that. Bump and run, dump and run, whatever you want to call it.
Or going to the tail together.
Yeah, or going to the tail together, exactly. So it's weird how the NASCAR, I guess, they penalize all these pit road speeds, tire, like what is this? A wheels loose on a cup car? Is it a 4-race suspension for 2 crew members?
Yeah,
is
crew
that what
members.
It is?
Yeah.
Yep. So like that's a hefty penalty, but you're allowed to drive in there under green on the white flag and just completely destroy somebody for a win. So it's kind of crazy how they just pick and choose, really, because I'd rather I'd rather a wheel fall off and not really hurt anybody, and then they just go get the tire from the safety truck or whatever, than me getting completely wiped out by somebody just for a win for no reason. So it's weird how NASCAR kind of picks and chooses on what penalties to give.
100%. Now, here's another one for you. Pre- and post-race inspection. Now, for short track level, let's dumb it down to short track level. Pre-inspection, usually at the beginning of the race, you get a sticker or whatnot that you've already been through pre-inspection, and you know what the rule book states. I mean, it's not like a 20,000-page dictation like NASCAR, right? So at the end of the race, though, I mean, whether it's the top 3, the top 5, you go to tech inspection. So as racers, Dalton and Harold, I know it's different back in the day when you raced. No, I'm not calling you old. I'm just saying literally there's a lot more now as far as computer generation and all of that fun stuff. So, Dalton, what do you think? I mean, racers, as yourself, know you guys push the level as far as you can push it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's you got to just read the rule book. I mean, really. So my street stock, let's just say CRA, HRA street stock, you go across the scales before just to check your weight, because you weigh after the race. You have to meet the minimum weight after the race. And I think you get 1 pound per lap burn off after 50 lap feature, whatever it is, I think. So we weigh after in street stocks. So me and my dad figured it out. We've been running a while, so we kind of have an idea of what we're going to weigh, how many gallons of fuel we're going to burn in a 150-lap race or whatever the case may be. Now, our modified, we have to weigh 2,450 pounds before the race.
Okay.
So and we don't weigh after the race at like Anderson Speedway or anything like that. They may check, I don't know, like axles or whatever, transmission, whatever it may be. So you just gotta read the rule book, and yeah, it's crazy. You just gotta be on top of your game on what car you're racing, what rule book you're on, and then you can go back to like a few years ago when it was the gas versus CRA street stocks. You could claim the Great American Stock rules, or you could claim CRA rules. So I think when we were doing that, when CRA and gas was doing that, Salem was doing that deal, it may have got a little out of hand, because I think some people were claiming a rule book that would obviously go in their favor, or claiming both rule books, depending on who would ask them. So, but like you said, how could you blame them if they're not going to get caught with it?
That's
so
it.
You got to push the limits.
So, Harold Adams, back when you raced in the 90s, early 90s and whatnot, how was it when you guys, I mean, was it much rules? I mean, you were racing in T-shirts and open face helmets.
Yeah, that's true. It was a lot easier just to actually hop in and just buckle up, put your helmet on and go. But, yeah, I mean, things were always like that. There was always guys that were pushing the limits, breaking the rules, and, just doing, it's always going to be the same, basically. Like Dalton said, you look at the rule book and you think, okay, I could probably get away with this. I can probably get away with that, and then you find out this guy's doing something, and they're like, secretly like, hey, you find out what he's doing, and then this guy starts doing it, and everybody's doing it, you know. But I'll tell you something right now interesting. When I was racing there, this one dromer I was actually illegal every week if you want to break it down. And I'll tell you, this is interesting. As far as looking at the rule book, at that time, a dromer could be 1979 or older. Okay. Well, the small body LTD that I had, those body styles were actually from 79 to 84.
Wow.
So the 79 was included in it, but the 80, 81, like 82, they were all basically the same. I had a 1980 Ford LTD. So really it was, really by the rule book, it was illegal every week. So there you go.
I like that. You know, something just popped into my mind. That's cool. You know, another big rule that we're seeing now that we did not see back then, Dalton, is the choose cone. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because how many times are guys passing and choosing after the choose cone and taking other positions? Think about that penalty.
Yeah, man, let me tell you, there is nothing more infuriating than choosing the top at Salem and somebody chooses the bottom a few rows ahead of you, and then all of a sudden you're coming up to file in your spot and they're back on the top. There's nothing worse than that, because it screws you more than anything, because let's say you'd move up a row or whatever on the top, and then you're back 2 rows. So I think that's more on the track. They need to do a better job wherever it may be, not even just Salem, but wherever they may be having a choose cone. They need having at least the flag man or whoever watching to read off car numbers saying 24 to the bottom, 20 to the top, 19 to the bottom, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So I put that more on the tracks than the actual drivers, because us out there, we're boneheads. I mean, we're stupid out there. You know what I mean? We're just fighting. We're fighting each other in cars without even talking to each other to try and beat each other and get the best of one another. So any little advantage we're out there looking for.
You know, one thing when I'm in the press box announcing some places, you know, it's always fun, you know, after a yellow flag comes out, when they're trying to reline up, number 4, I need you in front of the 55. I need you in front of the 55. And 55, I need you back 1. Come on now, get it together. You know, it's always fun when you hear that stuff, because that goes for passing under yellow, you know. Is there really a penalty for that? There's really not. They just kind of, the race director and scorer try to line you up in the right position. So there's another one that just kind of popped in my head. We could sit here all night and talk about penalties and all the rules and regulations. It was a great topic of the week, by the way. I really enjoyed this. So yeah, we'll take a little commercial break. We'll be back with the upcoming schedule here this weekend for the second weekend of July here in the Indiana area. Race fans, in 2026, we celebrate 5 years of the podcast, The Wild Will Throwdown. And in 2026, we cannot thank our great marketing partners for what they do for us, including the Salem Speedway, the Sportstrom Speedway, KKR, Indianapolis Speedrome, Elite Outdoor Services, Shears Drain Cleaning, Kentucky Clutch and Performance, Forklift Rescue, Diesel Boys, Harp fans, Hoosier Auto Racing fans, Flag to Flag Media, Roosters, Marshall Jaggers Racing, Derby City Recycling, Polk Brothers Racing, John McLaren Motorsports, Shane Wilson Lawn Care, Sean Smith Race Cars, Circle City Raceway, Victory Lane Frenchies, Oink Incorporated, Hadley Towing and Recovery, Code 3 Roofing, KJ Enterprises, The Smile Center, Clatt Mowing and Landscaping, LaFever's Curbing, El Tarasco Mexican Restaurant, and S&R Towing. We cannot thank our beautiful marketing partners enough for their success and their support in 2026. Hey, Wild Will Throwdown fans, Will Greenwell here. If you're into all types of racing like I am, then you need to check out the all-new Flag to Flag Media show each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to Flag to Flag Media, that's flag, the number 2, Flag Media on Facebook, and give them a like, or YouTube and subscribe. They will cover all of your dirt racing needs around the region. Flag to Flag Media. Check them out. And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown, as we talked about rules and infractions. And I tell you what, Dalton, that was a great topic of the week. And, You and I were talking off air. Nothing infuriates you more than more people passing. Man, it really burns you up, don't it?
Yeah, let's move on from this topic because I'll start calling them out on here.
Well, you know.
Yep, thank you very much.
That deserves a round of applause. I'll tell you that now. But we're not gonna. It would be a hot topic, but we're not gonna play it on air. Of course, we're good and civil. But let's talk, gentlemen, about the second weekend of July coming up. It's going to be another great time in our area here. We'll start with the Indianapolis Speedrome. Another 2-day show coming up there. Friday, July the 10th, going to be the Junior Fast Karts, Senior Fast Karts, Ford Oval, and Ford Young Guns. Saturday, the Outlaw 51 lap reverse direction factory front wheel drive kidney bean, the 10th annual Toby Eads Memorial for the street stocks, the Mini Outlaw Oval and reverse figure eight. Now I'm going to stop there. Dalton, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever done the reverse figure eight?
I believe I ran it in a Dash for Cash, maybe. Oh, like a fan came out and picked like between regular figure eight, oval, or reverse figure eight. I believe I won a reverse figure eight Dash for Cash, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, how was it? Do you remember?
Well, I ran 4 laps of it, but I think it was pretty fun. No, it should be a good show. It's you wouldn't think it's way different because you're still turning left and right, but just the feeling of going the opposite direction from what you're used to, it's way different. It almost messes with your head.
Sure. Now, Harold Adams, I know you and we've watched Sportstrom Speedway because of the Mother Nature and the sun. We've seen it many times down there. What's your opinion of the reverse figure eight?
I hate
it. Dang. Okay.
There, that's it. No, no, I just don't like it from a stands standpoint. Fan in the stands, because like I love watching the figure eight as the cars come at you. I never could understand, even growing up, way back in the day, why anybody would want to sit on the backstretch. I mean, really, I always said that. I was like, why would you want to sit over there? It's like 50 million times worse just watching the figure eight. You just don't get the feel of them cutting the X. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just so many years watching it the normal way. And kind of like what you said as a driver, you're going the other way, it just throws your head way off.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm not a driver, but I've raced the school bus figure eight. And believe it or not, and this is something you remember, Harold Adams, I was actually in the same night, I raced reverse figure eight and regular figure eight because of Mike Gibson going through the fence. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So
how was it?
It sucked. Yeah, that's all I got. It sucked. But it's just part of it. Well, the Brownstown Speedway's got the Don Russ Memorial for the Pure Stocks this week. They are back in action. They could not race last week because of no ambulance. Believe it or not, that's a thing. Lincoln Speedway Driver and Fan Appreciation Night presented by Evolution Automotive. Free grandstands, extra bonuses for drivers. They're going to have the UMP Modifieds, Indiana Superstocks, the Lincoln Park Speedway Bombers, and 410 Sprint Cars. And Dalton, I tell you what, anytime you get a free grandstand ticket and a track that has about 30 or 40 410 Sprint Cars, that's a deal.
Sprint cars are some of the most fun cars to watch in person. I feel like it's just nonstop action. Could be a flip at any moment. You just got to keep your eyes peeled.
And it's like normal to them. And to me, it's the most risked, brave sport that those drivers combat in. I'm telling you, I think it's. I have a lot of respect for sprint car drivers.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that sits directly with the drive shaft and transmission right through your legs. Yeah, but you got balls of steel, literally.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you something too, Will, from a photography standpoint. Like when we was watching the sprints and I was doing pictures up there at Circle City, a couple years, whatever. Anytime the sprints were there, I mean, I got a little bit more hyped up. Just like you said, Dalton, there could be a flip at any time. So I was like really, really like excited and trying to make sure, that I caught it.
No, you're exactly right. And Harold, some of those are the most iconic photos you could get, to be honest with you. So that's pretty cool. Windy Hollow Speedway, our friends down in the Owensboro, Kentucky area, is going to have a big one. The SCDRA Mini Stocks, $2,500 to win in regular classes. And if you don't know the SCDRA, I mean, they have some big payouts for their front-wheel drive racers. So that's really cool as well. Now, the Florence Speedway going to be off this weekend. But Lake Cumberland and Richmond going to have some big time this weekend. Lake Cumberland Speedway, Friday, July 10th, $7,500 to win for super late models, $1,200 to win for modifieds, $500 to win for Crown Vics and front wheel drive mini stocks as well. And Richmond's going to do it on Saturday night. It'll be $7,500 to win for the super late models and every one of their classes as well. And your hometown, little bit close to the hometown, Dalton, Anderson Speedway, I should say home track basically, the triple 50s, the Ford Division 50, the front wheel drive 50, Legends 50, and Thunder Roadster should be a pretty decent show.
Yeah, I wish I still had a Legend to try and win that 50 lapper, but man, I'll tell you what, running 50 laps around Anderson in a Legend car it's no easy task. Those things wear you out quick.
Yeah, no, I guarantee it on that high banked oval. So, and then looking at Plymouth, they're having the Gambler. That's their big iconic race for the Outlaw late models. Every year they run there, so that's going to be pretty cool. And the Rockcastle Speedway down in Rockcastle, Kentucky, the $7,500 win for the Ultimate Super Late models in all regular classes. You see Richmond Raceway, Lake Cumberland, Rockcastle work together. That's why you see the Ultimate Super Late models kind of bouncing off one another down that way. But gentlemen, it's been a great show today, a little bit shorter show, but that's okay. We're approaching 40 minutes, but want to keep them short here this week. No guest, as we just came off the Firecracker 200 weekend. So, Harold Adams, what's your white flag final moments and thoughts this week?
Well, I am ready for a drought. So let's get a drought going. I don't care. We can have rain later on in the off season. We'll be just fine.
Dalton, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, well, I just came from the race shop, I guess, from putting my figure 8 car back together. So hopefully I can bust that thing out for a few more times maybe, and hopefully pick up a win. I'm tired of losing.
Well, hey, I just know you're going to get there before you know it. We give you crap all the time on the show, but you're a heck of a wheel man, and I'm sure you'll pick up that win here sooner or than later. Well, everyone, we want to thank the drivers and crews for their contributions, as always, here on the show. I want to thank, of course, Dalton, Connor, and Harold Adams for coming on each week, giving their co-host thoughts. Our marketing partners, without our marketing partners, we could not do it. And, of course, if you've paid attention to my social media this week, we did announce next year in 2027, we will be partnering with Cozair for Kids. So that is so cool that we get to give back to children here on the show. And as far as you go, the fans are the reason we do it each and every week. We want to appreciate each and every one of you. And as far as I'm going and concerned, my name is Will Greenwell, and we will see you around the turn.